And we begin with the performance of the night in the NBA. Stop traffic if you've seen this before. LeBron James with a monster evening against the Mavericks. No Luka for the Lakers in this one, so we can skip over the drama and get right to business. Jackson Hayes poking the ball loose. It's going to end up in LeBron's hands. Right back to Hayes. See ya. That's how you set the tone early in the game. LeBron with the right hand there. Lakers up 2 later in the quarter. Lakers by 7. LeBron going to flash some range. Flush. Enjoy it, big man. Lakers up 10. Shortly after that, Lakers by 1. LeBron's going to take the contact, lay it in, plus the foul. 18 points and 8 assists in the first half, but the Lakers only up 1 at the break. Third quarter, agile, mobile, off the glass. Lakers by 2. LeBron showing a little bit of everything at his advanced age. This was just a performance for the ages last night. Lakers now up 12. There's the dish to Vanderbilt. 4th straight game for LeBron with 10 or more assists. That's the longest streak by a player 40 or older in NBA history. Lakers up 14 through 3. How about the handles now? As versatile a performance as he's demonstrated in quite some time. 28 points, 10 boards, 12 assists, first triple-double of the season for the King. The Lakers go on to win by 20. Now, at age 41, the ageless James is now the oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double in a single NBA game, surpassing the mailman, Karl Malone, who was 40 and change in November of 2003. James has 3 career triple-doubles since he turned 40, 2 more than the rest of the league all-time is combined over the age of 40. After the game, LeBron was asked if he could still play a few more years. Take a listen.
Yeah, I could, but I don't know. It's not like my game. My game is not going anywhere. It's just it's my body. I'm a goofy ass 41-year-old kid. I mean, I think people should know that by now, right? I think that's just me. I'm just a goofy. I get to play basketball. Like, they pay me to play basketball. Like, why wouldn't I be happy about that?
I would love someone to splurge together just the LeBron up and down this week with the teammates and the losses and the wins and the emotions. We have been all over the place. Shump's with us. So is Brian Windhorst. Gentlemen, thank you for getting up with us this morning. Windy, Lakers relying a little too much on a 41-year-old LeBron James?
No, because he's not their franchise player anymore. And, you heard that, that stat that you read. Luka went out, and so he's got 10 assists in 4 straight games. He's been able to pick up the slack. If they relied on him to do that night after night, he would probably break down. But they're able to give him some time off. They gave him the last game off. This is LeBron with 2 days off against an inferior team that he knew they had to go out and try to take care of right away. He scored or assisted on the first 23 points. And this is really the Lakers' season. They're doing very well considering their roster challenges and all the injuries. They're now 6-6 when Luka doesn't play. They kept their head above water when Austin Reeves was out. They're having a good season. LeBron is enjoying himself, and I would encourage Lakers fans to as well.
That's been a bit of the story, the fact that they've done as well as they have without being together as a healthy unit for much time at all. Shump, imagine we do get a healthy Lakers team in the second half of the season. How do they stack up against the West of the Western Conference?
Look, they're going to have a good season that they're going to finish up with. Again, they're not going to get enough credit on it sometimes because we have so many stories of the league. But they're playing some good basketball. They're doing things that we know LeBron does. We don't know if those 3 can push them over the top to play with the top of the West, though. When you talk about the top of the West, you're talking about the Wembys, you're talking about the OKCs, the Spurs, the Rockets even. The firepower has to go up, and then the bodies have to get younger when you start talking about this Western Conference. The Denvers are still around. I love what they're doing. I think hats go off for LeBron being 41 and them continuing on how they're doing. I agree with Wendy in knowing that Luka Doncic is now your franchise player. Do they have enough to keep going past the second round? I don't think so.
Wendy, what does the ceiling look like for a healthy Lakers team? Could they make the conference championship game?
I mean, a big part of the postseason will be health. If they have the healthiest team, they'd have a chance in a lot of series. but I do not think they would be favored to the conference finals. Some of it would be matchup dependent. If you are wanting to see them have some sort of playoff run, if you're a Lakers fan, which you should be rooting for, is them avoiding the play-in. You want to avoid the Thunder, you want to avoid the Spurs or Nuggets at the top there, and get into that 4 or 5 spot so you have a better chance to advance. That's where they are right now, Joe. They're 11 games over 500. His injury is not believed to be that serious. Hopefully he'll be back right after the All-Star break, and you continue to try to hold that spot. That gives you the best chance.
Back on Get Up, and as we've hit the All-Star break, let's survey the top of the NBA standings. At the very top, the surprise of the season has to be the Detroit Pistons. With a record of 40-13, they top the entire league entering the break for the first time since the 05-06 season. Right behind Detroit, Oklahoma City, who top the West with a 750 win percentage. As they navigate some midseason injuries, Oklahoma City still first in the NBA in plus-minus as well as defensive rating. And somehow, the Boston Celtics are still hanging around as they await the return of star Jayson Tatum from his Achilles injury. 35-19, which is second best in the East and fourth overall in the league. So why are we focusing on the top teams so much? Well, if you haven't seen this week, there's been this long-standing idea from the great Phil Jackson that to be a legitimate championship contender, a team has to secure their 40th win before sustaining their 20th loss. If you apply the 40-20 rule to this season, the Pistons and Thunder are the only 2 teams that have qualified this season. All right, let's start at the top. Shump. Is the world sleeping on this 40-13 Pistons team?
I don't think we're sleeping at all. I think that the OKC Thunder won the championship last year, and it's just hard to see what we're looking at. The Detroit Pistons have played phenomenal. They are for real. I think that they have, had a bunch of games now where we think it's gonna stop. We think it's gonna slow down. And then we watch them play a game that doesn't look like they're hot. It doesn't look like they're a hot team. It just looks like Cade Cunningham has a really good handle on what's going on. He knows how to win. The guy looks like a polished veteran that's been through, 4 or 5 playoffs, and he feels like he deserves to win at this point. That's the way I'm being presented it. And then you got JD coming along and playing well. They've got some other guys playing a good role game. I don't think they're under the radar. I think people understand they are for real.
For some, it can be hard to process because we've gotten so used to teams bombing and making a lot of three-pointers, and Detroit really struggles in the three-point department. They're just getting it done elsewhere. Windy, Eastern Conference has been very interesting up until the All-Star break. How many teams in the East can you make a case for winning the conference?
5. And I'm insulting the Toronto Raptors fans by not including them this week because I've been talking about it this week, and you could put them on there too, probably. The New York Knicks have at times shown an incredible ceiling, but their variance is crazy. You mentioned the Celtics having a tremendous start without Jayson Tatum, and Tatum is getting closer to coming back. The Cleveland Cavaliers make a major midseason trade and very under the radar have been one of the East's best teams for the last month or so. Shump just went over how strong the Pistons have been playing, and last night they took over the number 1 overall seed with Oklahoma City's loss. And Philadelphia, who currently have 2 of their best players out right now in Joel Embiid and Paul George, but when they're whole, have demonstrated they can beat anybody. All 5 of those teams have a shot, and I think that's as wide open as the East has been in many years.
Philadelphia and best players out, not exactly a new concept to Sixers fans. Shump, we were talking about the Celtics, 35-19 without Jayson Tatum. Would they become the favorite in the East, in your opinion, if he can return seamlessly from injury?
If he can. I think that Vukovic, that trade, it helped. It fits. Vuk's been one of those guys that has always scored, and, with Jayson Tatum coming back, I think he provides the same thing that was provided by Al Horford in previous years. And when you think of somebody like Jayson Tatum coming back along, having Jaylen Brown do what he's done all season has to make you feel comfortable, because now you can use him either way you want. You can bring him off the bench and you can play two different lineups, or you can go ahead and just start him out the gate and wait for him to feel like I don't have to force anything. JB's got it. He could take the reins and I can sort of play Robin until I'm ready to step in and do the things that I've done in previous years. With the Celtics moving like this, I mean, they're as good as anybody. I'm just spoiled when it comes to their brand of basketball, and I'm a little bit more excited about Detroit.
The job Joe Mazzulla has done this season, you just can't say enough about it. Now, a team that they've done business with in the playoffs before, the Cleveland Cavaliers, made one of the biggest trades right before the deadline, bringing in James Harden. Windy, the Donovan Mitchell, James Harden backcourt, are they capable of making a run to the finals?
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that was interesting this week is the LA Clippers made Darius Garland out indefinitely with that toe injury, which just illustrates we don't know when Darius Garland would have come back. And instead, they get this fully formed product ready to win now. And really, this move really serves Donovan. It should ease the burden on him some ways and open him up others. And you could already see Kenny Atkinson working with James Harden, putting him in the post, running guys off him, generating open three-point looks. The Cavs are only at the beginning of this experiment. It's a risk to make such a major move in the middle of a season, but the Cavs felt they needed to do it, especially to take care of Donovan Mitchell, and the early returns have been positive.
Jump in here. We've seen this with James Harden before, getting traded to a team, lots of excitement, and then they come up short. Is there reason to believe it'll be different this time around?
I think so. I think with James Harden, it's added a lot more than I initially thought of. When I thought of the hypothetical of him and Donovan Mitchell getting together, I didn't think there was enough basketballs on the court. After watching them, I agree with Wendy. I think Donovan Mitchell is very comfortable with James Harden handling the ball, taking most of the attention for as long as he can, and then Donovan Mitchell just sort of catches it on the second side and he's able to attack closeouts. The person that benefits the most from this is Jared Allen, who's been playing phenomenal, and the other guy that's going to come up big on the other end is going to be Sam Merrill.
The key for Harden, as usual, the ability to maintain the energy and production throughout the course of a playoff series, as we've noticed it drop off in years past as you get into the 5th, 6th, and 7th games. Gentlemen, let's stay in the association with a little game of sound off. Interesting people saying interesting things. Victor Wembanyama is taking over the NBA, right? Robert Horry says not so fast, my friend.
He's not in my top 5, though, but he is an incredible player.
Wait, he's not in your top 5?
He's not in my top 5 because he hasn't played enough games for me to be in my top 5. And he's too inconsistent for me. And he's only averaging, 24 points? I think we're trying to anoint him as the next great, too fast. Don't get me wrong, the kid is absolutely fantastic. But he ain't no LeBron James.
He's averaging 24, Rob.
Chump, Ori says Wemby isn't a top 5 player yet. At least not yet. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think it's hard to have a build like that, a guy that can fill up a stat sheet on any given night. The plus is that he's young. The plus is that he hasn't played enough games. But when I look at him, he's as good as any player I've ever seen come into the league and then have to add on to their game. He's done it fast. He's doing it, and he's maturing before our very eyes as far as learning how to deal with a double team. All that comes from playoff series, being the best player, and then having guys send that double team at you. He's seen triple teams already. If he needs to play more games to get the nod from Robert Horry, I get it. You know, he's a legend. I don't want to step on Horry's toes or nothing, but I see it.
Windy, we're only 2.5 years into it. The injuries have been a concern, and we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, but what we have seen has been wildly impressive. Is he a top 5 player in your opinion?
In my opinion, he's in the top 5 right now. Now, if Robert is talking about prime Kobe and prime LeBron, that standard is outrageous. If you're talking about third season LeBron, you know, for example, he mentioned only averaging 24. Kobe didn't average over 24 till his 5th season. Now, granted, he was playing with Shaq then, but I think what you're looking at Victor is not just what he's doing night in and night out, but you're projecting to what he's going to be. Just look at his body from 2 years ago to now. The physical changes are remarkable, and the more he learns to balance out his size advantage with how he wants to use his skills, I think the league is going to really fall under his sword eventually.
Chump, The Spurs have been a thorn in the side of the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. Do you see them as the biggest threat to the defending champs?
I think so. I think that even if physically they're not matching up well within the playoffs, I think that in the back of OKC's mind, that 4-1 bothers them. This is one of those feelings of, what is it about these guys that we can't get over the hump? And I think that when you play in a playoff battle, a lot of times the mental aspect will creep in and will be a huge factor. So I think that the OKC Thunder really will have to lean on SGA, but what better player to lean on the NBA right now than the guy holding 4 trophies, right?
Nothing better than the established guard taking on the young up-and-comers. That's the playoff matchup I think a lot of us are looking forward to. Gentlemen, thank you very much. At the break, DraftKings Sportsbook still in line with the Thunder to win the championship at plus 130. After them, the Nuggets are the only other team with odds shorter than 10-1. Your NBA leader, the Detroit Pistons, far back at 15-1.
I'm on fire. It's 88 over here.